Guess who's back? Back again. Wow, I look like a bit of a drowned a drowned rat. Today's video is hair care, specifically hair care and hairstyles. I need to brush this. We're gonna be using one of my favorite hair care tools ever, the Dyson Airwrap. I've had mine for about maybe 2.5 years, maybe even 3 years. I honestly can't remember. Guys, I've used it so much. I've broken the Airwrap case, which is hilarious. But when you get it, it essentially comes in this gorgeous leather case and you get a bunch of different attachments. You get the pre-styler, you get the 30mm barrel, you get the 40mm barrel, firm smoothing brush, the soft smoothing brush, and then the round volumizing brush. Yes, that's how you know that I'm a dedicated Dyson user and that this YouTube video is gonna be hella authentic. Before we get into how I like to use the Dyson and kind of like my go-to hairstyle, let's talk a little bit about my hair type. So as you can see, it is thick and there is a lot of it. So much so that I can't even get my hair in frame. I would need to like lean back. It's unruly. It desperately needs a keratin. It's frizzy. My heritage is Indian. So I don't know if that helps identify a little bit more what my hair type's like. So I was really curious to give this a go and it has been a genuine game changer. Like I use the Dyson Airwrap 2 or 3 times a week. I could not live without it. You have to put the time and the work in to learn it. But once you learn it, just like with going to the gym, it becomes so much easier. So practice makes perfect. So you've got the pre-styler, which is a smaller version of the Supersonic, and it doesn't have as much power as a Supersonic, but it gets the job done. To be honest, it's actually pretty good and better than a lot of other hair dryers that I've used. You push down to unlock, you pop the attachment on, let it go, and it just attaches. It's super simple, very user-friendly. So props to Dyson for that. Now, before I dry my hair, I'm gonna go in with a heat protectant. One of the good things with the Dyson Airwrap, which you won't really get from other kind of hair tools, is that it uses like minimal heat, and it also has like technology inside to kind of regulate the heat and the airflow so that your hair will never burn. However, wearing heat protectant is just a good habit to get into. I always put heat protectant on, and what I've noticed is that a lot of people don't actually put that much heat protectant on, whereas I just go crazy with it. Guys, I also have a Dyson brush. Like, is she a loyal user or what? And then basically you want to get your hair to like 60 to 70% dry. I told you I have a lot of hair. I would get it to like 70 to 80% dry if you have shorter hair and less hair than me. If you have kind of the same thickness and length of hair, then yeah, 50 to 60% is good because as you're doing it, it's gonna dry. Oh, this is very exhausting. I feel like I've had an arm workout and I have the rest of my hair to go. I really need to get this cut. Okay, now it's time to section the hair. So you're gonna need lots of clips. I like to work in really small sections so I'm able to achieve the curls that I want. Now, please don't come at me for my sectioning and clipping. It's not my strongest ability. So I'll work all on the left side and then I'll switch all to the right side because you've got to switch the attachments over, which I'll show you. So these are the 30mm barrels. As you can see, they are quite thin, so you're going to get a tighter curl. And here are the 40mm barrels. So they're a little bit thicker. They're going to give you a looser curl. It really just depends what you're after. What I like to do is I like to go between both of them. You see the arrow. So this arrow is going to the left, which means it's to curl this hair. And then we've got this arrow going to the right, which means it's to curl this hair. What this uses is something called the Coanda effect, which is actually really interesting. So they use it in jet planes. It basically wraps around and it spins to create a bit of like a, what is the word I'm looking for? A vortex style motion. It can attract, wrap, hold, and dry. Like, why can't a man do that for me? So I'm gonna need to use really small sections. They actually have the long barrels, which if you have hair past your shoulders, just get the long barrels. It's gonna make your life so much easier. Okay. Oh, look, what a perfect curl. And also, I forgot to mention, they had a cool shot to set it into this shape, and so it holds for longer. Okay, you push up the shot, like you push it up and you cool shot it for like 10 to 15 seconds, and then you turn the device off and you just let the curl drop down. That's the best way I can explain it. If you're using your air up in your room, have the doors or windows open because it can get really hot. That's why I didn't do my makeup, because I didn't want it to sweat off. So the other thing I will say, and you're probably starting to notice, is that it is a little bit frizzy. Now, that's naturally my hair type. If you're someone who really likes like sleek, ultra smooth hair, then this might not be the tool for you, because the beauty and the benefit of what Dyson offers is the volume and the fact that it can give you that kind of like bouncy, fresh, like blow dry look. But yeah, it doesn't really faze me, and that's why I get a keratin, to minimize the frizz. So I'm gonna leave this here and move on to the next section, which is the 30mm barrel. Look at this curl, it's so much tighter. It's kind of truer to like a more Hollywood ringlet curl. So that's how we're gonna get fun, big bouncy waves, by going in with 2 different curl types. If you want a smoother style, you can always go in with the hairbrush attachment, and I will just quickly show you. So it just straightens and smooths. Did you see that? Like, it's so nice and smooth. So I use this attachment actually every day at the moment because I'm fairly lazy. You can also achieve volume on this attachment if you do this and you go from the root when it's damp, press down, go up, let it go, and it will have nice volume at the root. Pro tip number 2. Start at the end of the hairpiece, not in the middle. Let's observe. Middle. End. Is this the final section? I'm gonna do the back pieces of the final section with the 40mm, and then I'm gonna focus the 30mm on the front pieces. Like, no one told me to do this, but this is just what I like to do. If you feel like you've messed up the curl, just wet it again and just use the spray, wet it, and try again. Wow, she's a beaut. Now we're gonna let this all set, do the other side. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna show you how to brush it out. Okay, so I think you guys can see my hair. Wow, I think I just broke some of my hair. It desperately needs a cut. Like, oh my God, I think someone needs to teach me how to section. The one thing I will say is, if you don't have like thick hair, if your hair's more like limp or fine or thin, what you can do to help with holding the curl and kind of creating that texture is using a texturizing spray. So the one that I use sometimes is this one from Philip Kingsley. You just spray it into damp hair on the roots. It's gonna create that texture in a really, really beautiful way. I am back, the hair is done. What I like to do is go in with a comb, brush it out, and it will slowly kind of form a bit of a wave together. Now, if you want and you feel like your hair doesn't have enough volume up here, you can add a texturizing spray, or you can leave it. Typically, I wouldn't add a volume spray, but for the sake of this, I'm gonna go in with the Color Wow Style On Steroids Performance Enhancing Texture and Finishing Spray. But you wanna go in the bends of the hair. I've popped on some finishing spray and also a kind of smoothing serum because it is a little bit flyaway at the moment. Okay, I'm gonna put some makeup on just to really match the hair, and then I'm gonna come back and tell you the pros and cons of why I love the Dyson and how it's actually cost effective to have this in your routine. Is this makeup way too intense for me? I just really need a haircut. It's a dire situation. I've done a glam. I was feeling very inspired by Adele's new kind of like Vogue photos dropping. Like, okay, Am I Adele? Definitely ready to hit the town. Now, I know it's pretty expensive. It's $7.99. I've worked out a quick cost per use for the Airwrap. I used to get 2 blow dries a week, which were $50 each. $100 times 4 weeks is $400. That's $400 a month, which is $2,600 a year, which is insane because that equates to about 500-ish coffees. If you invest $7.99 and you use it twice a week, like say you wash and blow dry your hair like twice a week, right? That's like standard. It's $7.68 per use per year if you use it for 1 year. And then the more you use it, like the more years you have it, the lower the cost goes down. So it's actually an economical purchase. Plus, it's an all-in-one tool, which means you're saving space on your counter. I don't know about you guys, but I have a flatmate, so space in our apartment is definitely limited. So I love that it has all these different attachments and it's kind of space saving. And it's just really fun to be able to play with different hairstyles. I definitely think if you're someone who's not willing to learn the technique and just absolutely hates doing hair and doesn't want to put any bit of effort in, this is not the tool for you because it takes time to learn. You just have to find the right styling products. You have to make sure you're using the right hair care to nourish your hair and to leave it in the best state possible. And just practice, practice, practice. Practice makes perfect. I'd love to know how you guys style your hair below, and if you have tried the Dyson Airwrap or any of the Dyson products. Not gonna lie, I have their vacuum, the Supersonic, the Airwrap, and the straightener. I might need to go into Dyson Repap. I'd love to know how you guys style your hair below, and if you enjoyed this tutorial. I'm always looking for new things to do with my hair, so give me some tips, and I hope to see you guys very soon. Bye, have a beautiful day.